This assembly line represents a shift that is accelerating across the globe. By 2025, algorithms and robotics will account for more labor hours than humans. This displacement has moved beyond simple manual tasks and is now actively hollowing out highly specialized professional sectors. While the economic impact is massive, the psychological toll is deeper. For centuries, we have anchored our sense of self, our social status, and our daily purpose to the concept of the career. When someone asks who you are, the answer is almost always a job title. Stripping away this central pillar of identity creates a massive psychological vacuum. We are approaching a moment where millions of people lose the primary framework they use to understand their value to society, creating a crisis of meaning that no simple welfare check can solve. History shows that sudden economic displacement leads to a specific kind of collective anxiety. When the foundation of a lifestyle crumbles, the feeling of personal and social irrelevance sets in. This identity vacuum provides the perfect conditions for radicalization. Displaced workers, feeling discarded by a system they no longer understand, become increasingly susceptible to extreme political movements, promising easy enemies and simple, nostalgic answers. This creates a startling paradox. The ultimate destination of the automation age could be a world where machines handle the toil, leaving humans free to focus on community and creativity. However, the path to that destination is a high-stakes obstacle course. The unmanaged transition, that chaotic gap between the end of the labor era and the beginning of a new model, is the most dangerous flashpoint we face. Without a bridge, the friction of this shift will tear the social fabric apart. This image from the 2022 World Economic Forum represents the traditional power structures that currently manage the global economy. These centralized models were designed for an era where human labor was the primary engine of growth, a reality that is rapidly disappearing. The underlying math of our social systems is failing. Our demographic pyramid is inverting. We have a shrinking base of active workers struggling to fund a massive and growing pool of retirees through a payroll tax that assumes human jobs will always exist. Current welfare systems, like the German Bürgergeld, are structurally incapable of surviving this shift. These models rely on the government's ability to tax human work, but you cannot fund a society by taxing a labor force being replaced by software. To hide this structural failure, governments increasingly rely on infinite debt and the creation of fiat currency. This constant injection of money drives inflation, which acts as a hidden tax, eroding the savings and purchasing power of the average citizen. The status quo cannot be reformed because its core logic depends on human workers who are no longer there. To survive the transition, we need a systemic replacement built on entirely different assumptions. This SpaceX Raptor schematic shows how progress requires a total redesign. Raptor 1 was too intricate to be sustainable. Raptor 3 achieved reliability through extreme simplification. Our economy requires this same blank slate approach. We call this streamlined economic engine machine money. In this model, we intentionally decouple human survival from human labor. Instead of fighting automation, we use machines as the primary generators of wealth. The work is still done, it's just no longer done by us. Now, this shift transforms technology from a threat to our livelihood into the literal source of our prosperity. When a machine works, it isn't taking a job, it is generating the baseline resources needed to fund human existence. This system is built on distributed ledger technology, or DLT. This is a decentralized network that processes and validates transactions without a central bank. It is a digital infrastructure that operates on transparent mathematical rules rather than political whims. This data center represents a new kind of capital. Here, physical robots and virtual software are treated as independent labor assets. These server racks generate real economic value every second they process data. To protect privacy, we use smart wallets assigned directly to the hardware. A vehicle or a software bot has its own wallet tied to its identification number. This separates the machine's financial activity from the human user's personal data, preventing a state of total surveillance. These machines interact in a real-time transaction loop. When a bot performs a service or a vehicle uses a road, they settle payments instantly via microtransactions. A percentage of this automated wealth is then universally distributed to the population as basic income. This creates a closed, self-sustaining loop where automation directly pays for human security. It eliminates the need for massive government bureaucracies to collect taxes and redistribute funds, replacing them with a fast, transparent, and digital architecture. Our current trajectory is leading toward two distinct societal outcomes, depending on how we handle the end of work. This image of closed storefronts shows the reality of an unmanaged transition. In this timeline, wealth is concentrated in the hands of those who own the technology, while the rest of society faces structural poverty, economic decay, and social collapse. The machine money timeline uses automated output to solve the material problem first. By providing universal basic security, the immediate terror of job loss loses its grip on the public psyche, creating a stable foundation during the shift. This security provides the breathing room to solve the identity crisis established earlier. When survival is no longer tied to a paycheck, humans are finally forced to build a sense of purpose based on community, education, and creative contribution. The technological revolution is a certainty. It cannot be paused or reversed. Our only choice is which socioeconomic timeline we decide to inhabit as the old world of labor fades away. The technical components for machine money, the AI, the decentralized ledgers, and the smart wallets are functional and available today. We are not waiting for a future invention. We are waiting for a change in direction. The primary barrier is political. Centralized institutions and legacy governments have built their power on the monopoly of currency and credit. They are unlikely to surrender that control to a decentralized network without a struggle. To survive the automation void, we must be willing to abandon outdated definitions of human worth and the centralized power structures that enforce them. The bridge to a post-work society exists. We just have to be brave enough to cross it.